Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste. I'm an astrologer, a coach, and an intuitive, and the host of the Celestial Insights podcast, which is here to help you navigate the week like a boss. It gives you a weekly forecast of what the upcoming astrology energies are, as well as a word of the day. And there's always the title, the theme of the week always shows up with um, what's happening. And I'm a mundane astrologer as well as doing personal readings for people and teaching classes and all that sort of thing. So, mundane astrology is the astrology of worldly events. It is my jam. I love it, love it, love it. I love to see how the astrology shows up in real life. And I'm a predictive astrologer, so I make predictions based on the energy. And today I'm going to talk about an unbelievable military screw up, SNAFU, whatever you want to call it, that we found out about today in the United States. Oh, I should have the guy's article right here. Ugh. Oh, you know what I can do? I'm going to pause the recording while I find the guy's article. You won't even notice a difference. Okay, I've got it. Yes, I should have had it before I started. It's Mercury retrograde. I had to stop this video multiple times because I kept getting marble mouth. So please excuse me, but this is the scoop of today. And today we're going to talk about Mercury Cazimi. When Mercury meets the sun, burns off old stories, and starts a new cycle. Now, Mercury is retrograde right now. And so a retrograde suggests that something we didn't know is coming to our attention. Some secret is out. And the sun is in the sign of Aries, which rules the military. So, and the sun is exalted in Aries. It's lifted up. It has a special seat at the table. Yes. So, the big story of today is about in the Atlantic magazine, and Jeffrey Goldberg is one of the top journalists in the country who covers politics. And he was added to a text chain on Signal, which is an encrypted app. And on this text chain was Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary of the United States. Tulsi Gabbard, the head of National Intelligence. I might be getting that title wrong. And NSA, NSI. She's. These are top government officials. JD Vance, the vice president. Now, the person who added him is Mike Waltz, spelled like the dance, and he is a national security advisor to the president. He added this journalist to a text chain that had all these other people and Secretary of State Marco Rubio and others. And they were on here just yippity yapping, and talking about their war plans. So on the day of the lunar eclipse, and when Mercury went retrograde, within 24 hours of that, the United States hit ISIS and then Houthi rebels in Yemen with missiles and whatnot, and a war attack. And he's on this text chain where they're planning all this. Now, he thought it might have been some kind of scam or joke, or somebody trying to trap a journalist into, reporting something that wasn't um, true. But 2 hours before they started dropping the bombs on the Houthis, it was announced detailed plans in this text chain. Now, first of all, on Signal, they have this information set to delete in a month, I believe it was said. The Bulwark did an amazing job detailing this on YouTube. You can watch their video. Um, yeah, there were two of the people who work for the Bulwark who talked about it that I watched, and they really gave some great details and importance about the national significance. They are not supposed to be doing this. This is a huge breach of national security. They are supposed to be doing this in person, like in the situation room or face to face or on some kind of secure government channel. Signal is not secure. All of our records from, that the government is doing are supposed to be kept for posterity, excuse me, not done in secret. So I just want to make sure that is clear so that people understand this is like an atom bomb going off in Washington, D.C. It's getting worldwide attention, and it's showing what a clown posse this administration is. And people are going to start talking about it louder and louder and louder. That is one of my predictions for the solar eclipse in Aries and its next steps. Oh, I got to do this quickly because I have, you know how I like to talk. So I'm going to make this snappy. So this is Mercury Cazimi set for Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. So we can see that there's a Leo rising. So we're looking at the sun to be representative of the people involved in the story. Um, and it's in the eighth house. Eighth house has to do with war when we're talking about mundane astrology. And it's next to Mercury. And Mercury is, and this is the people, all these people I'm talking about are sun type figures. They're leaders who are responsible for decision making in terms of war. And then Mercury here rules the 11th house of the collective and, the people of the world, and the second house of resources. But I think we're really thinking about Mercury ruling a reporter. It's the archetype of a reporter. The sun is the leader. A reporter was invited to this text chain, maybe accidentally or maybe subconsciously. Mike Waltz, who's a Green Beret and a former congressperson, maybe subconsciously he added him to the text chain because he felt like he didn't know it, but he felt like people need to know about all of the breaches of national security. I don't know. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's not just, well, he could have just been, this is Aries energy. It's impatient, it's rushing, da da da. I would bet money. I wonder, I won't bet money, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was added around March 11th when Mercury was direct, but it met Venus retrograde. And this is like Venus rules partnerships and collaborators, allies, and retrograde is conflict, is a problem. So and Mercury rules communications. And so accidentally added this person to the text chain right around probably before March 11th. But anytime since the new moon probably is when he was added, the new moon in Pisces. Yeah. So let's see. So that's what we're looking at. So he was added to the chain. Okay, so let me show you this. These are the two eclipses. So eclipses work together. We have, typically there's one lunar and one solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is the main event. The lunar eclipses are the artifacts of the solar eclipses. And so, but the lunar eclipse came first. So something that happened at the lunar eclipse is going to be important for some new start that happens at the solar eclipse. Is anyone going to be fired for this unbelievable problem? Mix up, screw up, snafu, foo bar, all the things you can think about talking about. I mean, this is unbelievable. And it's like Hillary's emails doesn't have anything on talking about military plans on an unsecured text line. And on Fox News, I was seeing one of the senators, that Josh Hawley, was acting like people were making a big deal out of nothing because it was a successful hit to the Houthis. That has nothing to do with it. The story is about them using unsecure channel, violating national security, not following the proper protocol for this kind of conversation, not keeping the records. I could go on and on and on, but I'm not. I'm just going to keep it to the astrology. Okay, so here is the lunar eclipse set in Washington, D.C. You see the moon and the south node here the south node is a cosmic drain. When you see it, you know there's likely something coming, which can be a little bit problematic, where we're going to be made aware of something Virgo, because it was in Virgo, about there's a lack of accountability. Virgo counts and it rules accounting. Now, we're all waiting, seeing if anybody's going to be held accountable. And the ninth house, the house of long distance travel, long distance affairs. And you can see Mercury is stationing to go retrograde. So Mercury, he's just sitting here. This is the reporter just sitting here watching all these communications go by. Eventually, when he realized it was real after the attack happened, he left the chat. And on Signal, you should be able to see that the reporter, Jeffrey Goldberg, left the chat. It would have said Jeffrey Goldberg left the chat, and nobody reached out to him. He reached out to them to talk about his story he was getting ready to publish in the Atlantic. So you see Mercury stationing at this degree, 9 degrees of Aries, the same degree as the solar eclipse on March 29th. So see, this is the tie-in to this story. And the same degree at Venus went retrograde. Well, not the same degree. Venus went retrograde at 10 Aries at the beginning of the month, March 1st. Yeah. So, and we knew there would be something that's a story that has to do with the solar eclipse, Mercury stationing retrograde, and Venus stationing retrograde on the same degree, and Neptune moving from 29 degrees of Pisces, the last degree of the last sign of the zodiac, and going through the toxic waste dump is what Georgia Stathis calls it. I call it non-potable water. So nobody's going to believe this Kool-Aid with a brain that it's no big deal, because they say it's no big deal. I mean, people are starting to feel scared about their security with Mars in Cancer, because of Cancer rules the stomach. It also rules our sense of the homeland being secure. And yeah, home security is Cancer, and Mars is in the sign of Cancer. So this is what is going on? These people are so incompetent. They're texting a reporter battle plans. What if it was someone else who put our troops in danger. Yeah, it could have been a really, really serious problem. But okay, so we knew there was going to be a ninth house story, long distance affairs, or it could have been broadcasting, or it could, well, they were broadcasting their business on this, as well as, and it's the detailed plans for this, as well as it could have been higher education. We've seen stories around higher education as well, with this eclipse and whatnot. And then the solar eclipse, we knew there was going to be a big story about communication because Mercury is retrograde at zero Aries. Zero Aries is a world point, meaning that the whatever comes out or whatever happens around the eclipse is going to get a lot of attention. Now, there's probably something coming on Saturday, Friday, Saturday, or between now and then that's in addition to this story, but this is one of the biggest stories. And then Neptune goes into Aries. Are we going to be talking about the military and Neptune, someone disappearing, losing their job, or are we going to be it's unbelievable. No one was held accountable. South Node in Virgo. Yeah, the South Node is a lack. It's a drain. Virgo rules accountability. Okay, hopefully that's clear. And is there anything else I want to say about this? And so here you see here Mercury and Venus, they met at 8 degrees, probably on March 11th. Then the eclipse was March 14th. We attacked the Houthis March 14th, 15th, right then. That was one of the lunar eclipse stories. And now, on the day that Mercury is Cazimi, the secret is out because the sun focuses on things and it illuminates us as this article comes out. And it's just going to get louder and louder and louder as they try to just push this story down. I think this story is going to have legs, and maybe on Sunday, we'll see. Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, will someone be held accountable? Now, I got this. Let me quit this. Oh, let me stop sharing. And I got a false flag event. So I get these downloads too. So seeing this, you knew there was going to be something about an Aries topic, the military, the fighting. It could be boxing. It could be some kind of competition, military, crime, violence. Yeah, these are all Aries topics, but I get downloads too. And so I got a download. I called it the false flag event, where there is some kind of attack and it's a problem, and with the retrogrades and Venus retrograde, I thought it was going to be Tulsi Gabbard, who was made a scapegoat. So what I was seeing is the potential. There could have been some kind of attack in the US, but that was of Mercury retrograde in Aries nature, which could have been like technology, lines cut, or anything like that, or someone using some kind of sharp weapon to hurt people. Could have been or on transportation, a car, whatever, some kind of event. And I was thinking it might be some kind of terrorist type event. And they were going to be coming from overseas because of the South Node and the moon in the ninth house. The people were coming from overseas, and that there was going to be a problem, and that a woman was going to be at fault. The Venus retrograde, I was thinking. So I was thinking something would happen that was Pete Hegseth's fault, which was a sun in Aries type figure. He's the head of the military, but that Tulsi Gabbard, the head of the National Security Intelligence, or whatever her title is, Let me write it in here. What? Uh-oh, I gotta go to Pilates. Gotta change my clothes and go. Let's see. She's a director of national intelligence. That's her title. I thought she would, because she's a woman, be scapegoated maybe. And I was saying Miss Oklahoma City was what I was calling her because Tulsi sounds like Tulsa. Anyway, now Mike Waltz is the one who did the problem. Mike Waltz is the one who added the journalist to the text chat. Waltz is a dance. It's Venus. Venus rules dancing, kind of thing, and parties and all that kind of thing. So I was seeing it potentially as a woman, but no, he's the problem. Mike Waltz, not Tulsi Gabbard. So I don't think she's going to be scapegoated for this anymore. I think this is going to be exactly what we see. But all of these people in this text chain somebody should have said, we should not be talking about this on Signal. We should be talking about this in the Situation Room. Let's move the conversation. See you there in 10 minutes or whatever. Yeah. So that's one of my predictions. And the false flag is in the chat. Someone said they were bad mouthing one of our allies, well, Europe, the countries of Europe who are the Western Europe, who are our allies, or at least they were before this administration, saying they were freeloaders because they're doing the attack in the Middle East. Another one of my downloads was about the Strait of Hormuz. So I knew there was going to be some story about a waterway. And what the Houthis have been doing is they have been attacking ships in the Red Sea over there. Yeah, it's between, and it connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of, yeah, I'm not sure if this is the exact place where the Houthis are. Like these things, I'm like a baby psychic. So, this is how these things come in. They come into me in songs and little phrases and the astrology, like my mind connects things. But this is this is pretty close to the story. It's an attack. It's the military. Tulsi Gabbard and Pete Hegseth are both involved. They were the two people I was thinking about. Now, I never heard of this Mike Waltz before today, so I didn't have his information to think that, oh, Waltz, that could be a Venus archetype because it rules a dance. Astrology is a language that you just translate into English. So, yeah, and the fact that let me show you this again. Oops, and then I really have to go. And I'm so proud. Today's word of the day for the Celestial Insights podcast was receipts. And so the journalist put up to get from the Atlantic, put together all the receipts and about this. Now, the person was careful not to, this is Jeffrey Goldberg. He was careful not to he was careful not to give away anything that was confidential information in terms of would put national security at risk, is what I understand. This happened over 2 weeks ago, or almost 2 weeks ago, so he gave it time before he launched the article. But the timing of the article is right in line with the astrology, because if you look at this chart, Mercury Cazimi, So Mercury is retrograde. It meets the sun, and the next thing it does is it sextiles Pluto because it's going backwards. See how Pluto's at 3, Mercury's at 4? That happens tomorrow. But it's applying, so it's putting its energy on there. And Pluto in Aquarius, a group of powerful people at sixth house work. And the moon is the people in Aquarius. And the people of the United States, we have an Aquarius moon at 27 degrees. But you see, he's connecting this is what the information we're learning. The moon comes to Pluto and Aquarius. The people somewhere are learning something about some powerful group, some kind of Aquarius, communication, how they think, all of this kind of stuff. Now, yeah, and we're learning about sun type figures. So get it? Astrology is literal. So I hope this helps people see astrology and how it shows up in real life. This is why astrologers can give you dates about things that are going to happen. Now, with some of these, outer planet transits, it's like we give you a couple of weeks on either side because there can be something else that's the trigger that leads to this thing. And like certain things, like, well, Saturn and Uranus transits happen to the dates. Mars transits happen a few days early. And let's look at what's. And see how Mars is squaring Chiron in Aries. So this is wounding the reputation internationally of these people. Chiron is the wounded healer. And then Mars will see 2 degrees ahead. This is a lot of time to get the Mars transits. And Mars rules this solar eclipse because Mars rules Aries, but it's in the sign of Cancer, where it is out of bounds. You're not supposed to be taking actions. Mars rules actions on this text chat. And in the sign of its fall. So the people who are supposed to protect us are doing this stuff in out of bounds where they're not supposed to be doing it. Trine Saturn. Saturn holds accountable. It's in Pisces. Is anybody going to hold these people accountable or not? We shall see, but I'll do another video. But this is one of my predictions, is that it's going to start getting louder and louder about how this administration is putting the national security, the economy, all of our relationships around the world at risk with their reckless behavior. So we shall see if if I'm right about that, but I'll do another video because this is just one of several stories. I think the elections on April 1st, we're going to get big news that the Democrats did a lot better, maybe even outstanding than we thought they were going to do. And Bill Maher on real time, is he going to give us the real time, or is he going to make up the what's on the clock? Is he going to say what he really saw, that the emperor has no clothes, or is he going to put some lipstick on that pig? We'll see. Stay tuned. See you a little bit later. But listen to the Celestial Insights podcast every week so you understand the upcoming energies. So when you're reading the news or a novel or watching a TV show or talking to your friends or coworkers or spouse or whoever or children, they say something and it goes ding, 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 and you understand how the timing of right now and that energy is showing up in your life and the collective. And then it can help you plan going forward. And make sure to get the calendar that I am a collaborator on with my friend and collaborator, Tiffany Herlick, the Wise Skies calendar. And then you use my coupon code, Celeste 10. What is my coupon code? No, it's It's ABC 2025 for a $10 discount, but it's in the description. But that calendar can help you so you don't go on vacation on the day Mars is square Saturn or something, because it tells you the transits, it tells you the nature of the energy, and it can help you live a better life, more in sync with the energies of the universe, so that you can do things at auspicious times and flow with the energy. Okay, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste.com. Late for Pilates, but I just had to talk about this because it's unbelievable. Will this get me sent to El Salvador? Well, I found out they don't take women in El Salvador, so at least not yet. So I'm not worried about going to El Salvador, but stay tuned. Will I be put in an asylum for Trump derangement syndrome? Ooh, let's hope not, because then I wouldn't be here. I don't think they'll let me do the Celestial Insights podcast from there. We shall see. Take good care.